Let me be your...
Let's get out of here. I've been thinking about time as a dimension in recent years. There are really very few times in life when you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. If you ask me in any given moment what I want to do, it's actually nothing. Filling your own time without any structure is maddening. Except if you're determinist, then you're just acting out the present moment, so the future that already exists will come true. There's one mental health definition, a couplet, if you will, that I find helpful. The thing about being able to perceive time as it passes, I think, is that's then why we have narrative. But I do like comparing it to space as a dimension. You can understand that you can walk in different directions as a means of traversal. Often those times are traumatic as well. But I feel like a significant time in my life was when we moved to China, actually. Live in the moment. We've all seen Our Town. We know the tragedy of not realizing your life as it's happening to you. And the same for like, oh, we should all return to being like children and just do what the mood strikes us. Depression is getting stuck in your past, whereas anxiety is getting stuck in your future. This is why films work, even with significant continuity errors, is that if you see a series of images, if you see a series of moments, you want to make a narrative out of that. If you want to get really out there, your past, I think a woman just shook her head at her dog as if it could understand facial expressions. It listened, so maybe it does. Is changeable in that when you revisit your memories, you can overwrite them with how you think they went. There is this countercultural idea that no schedule is the best schedule, and we should all smash our watches and clocks and no longer be beholden to the man, which I, on some level, support. Although, as we've all experienced during our various lockdowns, I think spontaneity is overrated, and in all media, I take the side of the character who's the most uptight. So I do have to hold on to that my present and the future have some connection. The Chinese language does not have tenses as in past and future and present, and so it is like the sum total of what you've done affects this moment now, and the what you will do in this moment affects how your future will turn out. So like you can have an occasion where your iPod plays 6 breakup songs in a row and you think, I should break up, my iPod is right. And that feels more compelling to you rather than being unsure if you should break up or not. What it has is states, so something could be, an action could be complete or ongoing or hasn't happened yet. The mindfulness value of being in the moment does definitely help me reduce my anxiety. As the day got closer, our flight to China got closer and closer. It was like I knew what to do up until that time. And time, of course, you can only walk the one direction, only one direction that we know of. Which is not an argument to say we should all keep to a timetable and go back to work. But after getting off the plane, I just could not conceive of what our life would be like. But it does not refer to the time in which it's occurring. I guess the problem is if you get stuck in worry rather than just like being prepared. So it was hard to even conceptualize like, when we get there, what do I want to do? But where this isn't helpful is where I ate spicy food and now my mouth is hot. Okay, basic cause and effect. I always eat too much spicy food. I'm such an asshole. And then it usually turns out in the movie, the character espousing that idea has some kind of mental illness, or they're too pure for this world. I'm thinking, of course, of the 1995 Drew Barrymore vehicle, Mad Love. The possibilities aren't endless, like I said. I've been in situations where gaming out every potential problem has actually helped in what's occurred and helped me get out of situations that were somewhat difficult. That's been our explanation. It's hard to make plans with people about the future. And, obviously, that's not what live in the moment proponents are suggesting. But it's actually hard to live in the moment, because if I might die tomorrow, the things I want to get done, I have to do now. That's the only time I have. I had somewhere I was going with this. Oh, that the present, I like to think about it as the present is this connector between your past and your future. Because it is also something that's happened the world around with the advent of cell phones, is that nobody makes plans anymore. It's the difference between mindfulness and nihilism, I guess. But maybe that's what living in the moment is. And the difference being that the past is somewhat fixed. I can say next week we're gonna go to the movies, but then on Tuesday afternoon I have to text you, are we still on for the movies? The healthiest person can tell the difference between preparing and just getting mired. I would read while I was walking when I was a kid, and my parents had to yell at me to stop reading. And those people have not worked with kids because kids need structure. I actually find the idea that I might die tomorrow pretty motivating, but it's advice that's easily corruptible into, we're gonna die tomorrow, what the hell? Let's have another whiskey. But who among us hasn't had a good old nihilist period? Most people have a reasonable expectation of what they can expect tomorrow. And then when I get to the movies, I have to be like, I'm here, are you here? I want to do absolutely nothing. I think spontaneity is overrated, and in pretty much all media, I take the side. See, it ruins shots. I mean, I love narrative, I love stories, I love reading, and kind of in one speed, except that our perception of time passing does seem to pass slower and faster. Depending on your friends, they could even at that last moment be like, oh, something came up, I'm not coming. I mean, that means I'm not inviting them to the movies again, but that's the cost of my friendship. But what I will have done is a lot. You do also have to disengage with the narrative sometimes. It's not always helpful. I don't know, this kind of fell apart at the end.
In China